Occult Confessions is brought to you. Do you guys know this thing? Either of you want to do this before I do it?
Occult Confessions is brought to you by the generous support of our patrons. To support Occult Confessions... Oh, shoot. I was on a roll, okay? I had the first part.
Is brought to you. Occult Confessions is brought to you.
Commercial free.
Commercial
through the
free.
generous support of our patrons.
Visit
occultconfessions.com
and click on donate to help keep the history of the occult on the digital airwaves.
I was going to say, as far as we know.
We're not there yet. We haven't gotten there yet.
Okay. It felt like it flowed so well.
We've only been doing this for like 6 years.
I know. It's been so
Madness.
long.
Rhiannon may owe much of her modern fame to Stevie Nicks, who only through serendipity created a song for the band Fleetwood Mac that preserved Rhiannon's origins in Welsh mythology. Nicks had read about Rhiannon in Mary Bartlett Leader's Triad, a novel of the supernatural. But Leader's Rhiannon lore wasn't especially accurate. Nicks kept her interpretation vague enough that she ended up singing a song that reflected the true Rhiannon as far as we know her. And reflected the true Rhiannon fairly well, I should say. It's just sort of, you can read into the lines. It's an abstract interpretation. In a live recording, Nicks described Rhiannon as a Welsh witch, which is true enough, but we can't say for certain if that's actually who she was. Certainly she was possessed of supernatural skill and ability, which suggests she was either some kind of female druid, which subsequently were called witches or fairies by the Christians who recorded the lore of the Celts, or a goddess from the other world. Her story is recorded in 2 of the 4 branches of the Mabinogi, and our project today is to tell the 2 tales of Rhiannon as fully as we can. The Mabinogi were Welsh legends first recorded in the 11th, 12th, and 13th centuries in a group generally referred to as the Mabinogion. My name is Dr. Robert C. Thompson. I am your supreme hierophant for today's proceedings. I am joined by Jake Wheatley, our Knight of the Dangling Serpent.
Hello. And I, in fact, have never seen a woman taken by the wind.
Well,
Got it.
That's the answer to that question.
Yeah. I love Stevie Nicks. I don't know if you know this, but I do.
I did not know that you loved Stevie Nicks. I'm delighted. What's your favorite Stevie Nicks song?
Well, I mean, it's cliche to say, I think, but Landslide is up there. Also, Rhiannon is one of my favorites from her, too.
So you really like the Fleetwood Mac generation of Stevie Nicks?
Yeah, I mean, she was a boss. Her stare down with Lindsay while she's singing about herself, basically.
And the Gold Dust Woman dance, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
That big black thing she would wear, put her arms out and twirl around.
Whenever I'm home alone, I dress up like Stevie Nicks and
black lace.
I have a vinyl of her 24 karat gold tour, and I dance around.
Nice. I'm delighted. So this is the perfect episode for you.
Oh yeah, I love Rhiannon and Stevie Nicks both. Oh well,
both of them.
Sure.
Welsh witches. And almost forgot, Nikki Hiller-Henderson is also here.
Hello.
Nikki, our naked truth.
I have been taken by the wind. I was standing on ice and very strong wind blew me, I don't know, a foot or two, so.
Blew you where?
Just a foot or two away. I was on a slope on ice and the wind pushed me, so technically I have been taken by the wind.
We have a real life Rhiannon here. Wow.
We have a man who has never seen a woman taken by the wind and a woman who has been taken by the wind. But Jake wasn't watching at the time.
We're in different time zones.
That's true. It would have been hard to accomplish.
Yeah.
You would see it, but you would see it an hour earlier than it actually happens.
Whoa. That's
weird.
Okay, that's a little too existential for me, but
let's pledge it out. We, the members of the Secret Order of Alchemical Actors, do solemnly commit ourselves to a full and honest telling of the history of the occult as far as we know it. Always an experience. Let's go ahead and open that Order of Confessors. Jake, you open us up, please.
Welcome, Order of Confessors. Switching
okay.
it up.
All right. A text-based entry.
Yeah.
Before we get into the details of our patrons, we have a few patrons to welcome today. I do want to mention that cool things are happening on Patreon. I'm going to be publishing some Patreon exclusive scholarship. I frequently go around and do conferences, but I don't always publish out of my conference work. So I'm going to be developing some of that work and publishing it on Patreon. And for our $5 and $9 patrons, they can expect to receive some merch. We've signed up for a new service through Patreon where we can get some merch out to you. So all good reasons to join the Patreon. I also want to encourage you. The show has lately, I think perhaps because of our recent topics, been attracting more people. And so it helps us to get some positive reviews and some good, star action. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and hit those stars on Spotify or on iTunes. You don't have to say anything if you don't want to. Just racking up stars is a good thing for us. All right, now a commercial ended. Let's welcome some patrons. Armin A, Teddy O, Devere, and Nick C. Thank you and welcome.
They all sound like artists, like singers or DJs.
Yeah,
that
was the original lineup of Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, I thought they sounded familiar.
Yeah. They heard we were doing this episode and wanted to give us a couple bucks.
I'm about to faint. You're telling me Fleetwood Mac is listening to us? That's oof.
We actually are a degree separated from some fairly famous people. I don't know if the famous people ever listen, but yeah, we're not far away. Beauty pageant winners, we have beauty pageant winners. It's a fun collection of.
Are they listening to us before they go out there to do a pageant? Because if so,
I think so. Yeah,
I love that.
I think we're awesome. Popular in the makeup and hairstyling room.
Wow.
Also, welding room with the welders.
We can't. Okay, no, that's a classic. We can't forget them. They've been with us.
Can't forget the welders
since the beginning.
Nikki, go ahead and close us out.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. All right then. We don't really mean goodbye. We're still
Don't
here.
go.
Don't leave, please. I have a lot of separation anxiety.
Don't leave us.
Please.
So I think I said on the last episode that I am Welsh by ancestry, but of course my people came over to the United States more than a century ago. So my Welsh pronunciation today is hopefully going to be serviceable, but I'm going to guess not even that. My apologies to the good people of Wales. I am one of you, just far removed. And now I'm going to say a Welsh name. Pwyll Pen Annwn.
That sounded right to me.
It
Me and my
sound
Irish
bad,
and British heritage. Yeah,
yeah. Well, but Irish, British, it's all Celts, right? So
yeah.
Pwyll Pen Annwn was the lord of the 7 cantrefs in southwest Wales. Cantrefs were sort of like counties or provinces in Wales. One day, while out hunting, Pwyll happened upon a pack of hunting dogs who were not his hunting dogs. They were beautiful animals, bright white with red ears, and they took down a whole stag. But Pwyll drove the dogs off and let his own dogs feast on the stag, which was pretty bold since his dogs hadn't actually taken down the stag, and so they weren't rightfully entitled to the stag. Anyhow, along came the red and white dog pack's owner. He was on horseback, and he was none too happy with Pwyll. His name was Aron, king of Anfun. And now... So, I know. And Spotify attempts to create a transcript of these episodes.
It's in beta. It's fine.
Yeah. But there's one vowel in Anfun, and it's the A at the beginning. Otherwise, there are no vowels in the word Anfun. Anyhow, Aron, king of Anfun, And now, that was the guy's name who's mad at Pwyll, and he was able to see the human whose dogs he'd screwed over, and that human, the king, he was pissed. Pwyll decided he better make it up to Aron. So, the price for the transgression, however, was more than a stag, because the act of making up a wrong requires more effort than it takes in the committing of the wrong, you see? Just as punishment for a perceived slight or injustice was often greater than the actual infraction in, Celtic judicial procedure, there's a moral thing. Like, it's not just that you took something, you violated a moral principle, so you need to pay extra. Does that make sense?
I suppose.
Well, they're very superstitious
so
in that time, so you wouldn't want to mess things up.
Well, so you keep the gods happy?
Mm.
Yeah, I think there's a logic to that. You got to keep the, but it's also, I think it's just a good thing for us to think about even today, that it's not, committing a wrong is not just, the cost of the wrong. It's also the cost to civilization if everyone went around doing this. So there's a cost that is incurred on top of the actual act. Okay, so now is the time when I announce to you all that we are going to play the characters in this myth as well as doing the episode.
It's like narrating on stage, and then all of a sudden we just throw the costumes on really quick.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. We step out from behind the screen. So the reason for this is because there's going to be a lot of dialogue in this episode, so it'll just be easier. So we'll announce who we're playing, and then we'll get into it. Jacob, you're Pwyll, right?
Huzzah, Pwyll.
Okay, and are you? Yeah, and I'm Aron. You're Pwyll, and I am King. You are also King. We're both King, I believe.
Couple of kings.
Aron. I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
couple of kings hanging out.
Couple of kings.
We're kings of different counties. All right. Okay, so here we go. Are we ready?
Mm-hmm. I believe so.
If you would make things right by me, you must rid me of my rival, King Halfdan.
By what means must I do this?
You must take my shape and visage and live in my castle and sleep with my wife.
For how long?
A year.
But my own people and wife will miss me at home.
Oh, no matter. I will assume your shape and face by the magic I have. And I won't sleep with your wife.
That's nice of you.
Every year, I meet Halfdan, accompanied by my man. And Halfdan is accompanied by his man. And we say mean things to each other. And his are always far meaner than anything I can come up with, and then we go our separate ways. But the long year after he oppresses my people and harasses my lands, and he spends the year being generally uncool.
What would you have me do?
A year from tonight, there is a meeting between him and myself at the ford. You will be there in my guise, and a single blow you must give him. He will not survive it. And even if he asks you to give him another blow, you mustn't give him that blow. For despite any more blows I gave him, he was always able to fight back just as well the next day.
One blow.
No more blows, no less blows.
It is a one blow deal.
Delightful.
Yep.
You should get all that, Nikki.
Beautiful.
Huh. So one blow. Interesting.
It's got to be one blow. Things came to pass. We're back to the narration portion of today's entertainment. Things came to pass exactly as Awarn had said. Pwyll spent a year living as Awarn, and Awarn spent a year living as him. And despite having been given permission, Pwyll did not have sex with Awarn's very hot wife, which truly annoyed her because she thought Pwyll was Awarn and couldn't figure out why her husband wouldn't have sex with her for an entire year.
She wasn't included on this deal. Wow.
No, I guess it'd be awkward to explain it Oh, honey.
That's tough on the ego.
But, if you're cheating on your girlfriend, right, this is a great line. Oh, honey, I'm really tired, and it's not you, honey. It's that I'm no longer me. I switched bodies with another
this
guy.
Again. Just say you're not attracted to me anymore.
Yeah. It's only a year, hon.
Poor thing.
Then at the appointed time, the appointed time came for King Awarn and King Hafgan's annual meeting. And men gathered on either side of the border between their lands. And then a herald on horseback arrived. Nikki, can you be that herald?
Good men, listen well. Between two kings is this appointment, and that between their two persons. Each one is a claimant against the other over issues of land and territory. May all you stand back and let it be between them.
Nice. The two kings rode up, and Pwyll, in disguise as Awarn, struck Hafgan a mortal blow through his shield and through his armor. Hafgan begged for Pwyll, who was actually looking like Awarn, to finish him off, but Pwyll did not, and Hafgan rode off, pouting that the conclusion of his death was truly upon him, and he could uphold his kingdom no more. Awarn became the ruler of all of Unwanted, and Pwyll rode home to tell Awarn and exchange places with him once more, so everybody could sleep with their wives again.
That's very sweet.
So Hafgan all along was the ruler of the other part of this kingdom in Wales, and that's why they were meeting every year, because they were in borderlands. But when he got his one blow that killed him for some reason, then
sometimes that's all it takes is one blow.
Yeah, it's too many blows.
Too many blows.
That happens in video games sometimes, right? Like you have that boss that has like the one weak point. You're like shooting them all the time, and then nothing happens, and you give them that one blow.
That one blow, and they're gone.
You guys have been really restrained about oral sex jokes and all of this.
Well, I'm trying to keep it like a little.
Okay, PG-13. Yeah.
I mean, that's if it helps. That's what I was thinking about.
Okay, it does.
I was like, do they
Makes
just
me
meet
feel
up?
better.
I think it's so heavily implied. You know,
how many times do we have to say one blow for people to realize?
Right.
So, Nikki, you think this is an allegory for oral sex between men on a battlefield?
I honestly could be. Like, it really could be. Because he's like, no more, like, don't. Then he's like, give me another blow. And he's like, no. And then he walks away pouting. So, I don't know. You tell me if it's an allegory for men giving each other oral sex on the battlefield.
Well, Jake, you would be the expert on this.
You're absolutely right. And if I could go back in time, I think I found the time period I want to live in.
Could you live with this single blow situation?
No, because I normally am a many blow type of guy. Just to set the record straight here, one blow does not do it for me.
Ah, damn! Now we got an explicit warning. This one, okay.
You asked for it.
I did.
You wanted the one blow.
You guys delivered more than I could have imagined. So the king, Awarn, my character, was well pleased with Jake's character's strange victory over Hafgan.
What can I say? Jake's character is pretty good at the one blow.
My character was also really happy that you didn't sleep with my wife, and we became fast friends ever afterwards.
You're welcome.
Sometime later, Pwyll was riding outside of his castle when he happened across a lady on horseback. She was a lady of great mystery, intent on maintaining her mystery insofar as no matter how closely anyone rode up to her, she always remained the exact same distance away from them and never showed her face. Think about that for a second.
I love that.
she's like a magnet, right? You know, when magnets are in opposition, you can't get the magnets any closer together.
Mm-hmm.
The lady rode by every day, and Pwyll became mystified and enchanted by this mystery woman. He sent men after her, but none of them could catch her. Finally, he went himself, and when she rode past, instead of pursuing her, he called out,
"Maiden, for the sake of the man you love the best, wait for me."
And that's pretty much all it took.
Gladly, I'll wait. but it might have been better for the horse if you'd asked me a good while before.
Ooh.
Come on now.
Also, are they just chasing her? The way that it says, like, no matter how close they get, she always goes the same distance away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you, like, they're not saying anything? They're just following her?
I think so, yeah.
I'd be running too.
I think you're right, Nikki. This is a meta.
If a man on a horse comes after you, no explanation, you run. I don't care what century it is.
But as soon as Pwyll is like, hi, you want to be friends? She's like, why didn't you ask
exactly.
sooner?
Oh, yeah. No one ever talked to me before.
No one's ever asked me to stand still. Okay.
It's like a sexual lesson.
Chasing
it's a
me.
lesson in flirting.
Wow.
Yeah. Don't be aggressive, particularly, the male-female relationship. Don't be aggressive. Just say
communicate.
Hi.
Yeah.
How many men could have used this? And it's been around since like the year 600.
The 11th century.
Right, if only.
So I sum this up as better to approach a woman with an offer of love forthrightly and to use your own words. Also be honest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be sneaky. Hey, don't I know you? Didn't we go to college together? Don't be sneaky.
Also, don't just start following a woman, especially without saying anything, because like nothing is scarier.
Particularly on horseback, because that's awkward at the club.
Jesus Christ!
Is the guy on the horse following me around this club?
It's just the one guy on a horse in a club, too.
Right. Is he following me?
This is so off topic, but there are actual like police horses, and there are police on horses here in Calgary.
Canada. That's to be expected.
Okay, but that wasn't in Winnipeg.
You guys invented mounted police.
Are they called the Mounties?
I didn't think they still existed. Okay. Yes.
Do they wear red?
But I didn't think they still existed.
Do they wear red with the hats?
They wear giant hats.
Yeah,
that's so
cool. You have real Mounties doing actual police work around Calgary,
and they're downtown. So just like all these like trains and cars and busy shit, and then a giant like Clydesdale horse.
Will they investigate like homicides and stuff? Will they pull up beside a?
God,
they
I
put
hope
a detective
so.
hat on the horse.
Oh my god! They take off the. Oh my gosh. Anyway, sorry.
When they're undercover, they they wear a slightly smaller hat, but otherwise look exactly the same.
They have glasses and a little mustache.
Right, yeah. A tiny hat, big red coat. Anyway, this is Rhiannon, this woman we've been talking about on the horse. She's the daughter of High Fade the Old. I don't know if he was always called that. That probably would have been odd when he was a child, but
he's born and just called the Old.
That's our oldest kid.
Well, babies do look like little old people.
That's true. High Fade the Old is her daddy, and she is being given to a man she does not want to marry by High Fade the Old. She has had her heart set on King Pwyll and believes she deserves him and not this other man. So she's actually been playing games with Pwyll this whole time, too. She's been trying to get him by being mysterious and aloof.
Cheeky.
Yeah. And so, with her magical horseback riding, she has sought to remedy her situation, and she does remedy it, but not as quickly as you might think, because things get more complicated. So you think, okay, she's got her man now, he's got her, all is well. But not so fast. Rhiannon is beautiful, and Pwyll is eager to marry her right then and there, and so she makes an appointment for him to come to her father's house in 1 year for a feast and to prepare for a wedding. Following tradition and the whims of a particularly good mood, at this feast, Pwyll offers to give every petitioner any boon they request of him. So it's a year later, he's at the feast, he's like, I will give you anything you want, anybody here. Anything that I can give you, I will give it to you. So
one
a prince...
singular blow to everyone.
That'd be very Green Knight, yeah.
Yeah.
That's Cuchulainn. A prince steps forward with a request, and I will play the prince in this scenario. You are about to sleep with the woman whom I love the most tonight, and it is to ask for her, along with the provisions and victuals which are here, that I have come.
Well, that's a boon for sure, and it's in my power to give it, so... Damn, I feel like you're taking advantage of the rules here, friend.
Be dumb as long as you like. There was never a man so slow with his wits as you were then.
Lady, I didn't know who he was.
This is the man to whom they wanted to give me against my will, Gaul, son of Clud, a man rich in hosts and lands. And since you have said the words that you said, you have to give me to him to prevent dishonor.
But Rhiannon is not about to go quietly. Back to me, by the way. I am no longer the prince. Rhiannon is not about to go quietly. She asks for another year, after which there will be one more feast. She needs that year to prepare every time. So she says, okay, fine, Gaul, son of Clud, I will marry you, but I need a year. And there's going to be another feast, and at the conclusion of this feast, I will sleep with you, Gaul. But Rhiannon has actually no intention of sleeping with the prince. It's her preference is to sleep with King Pwyll, and she's going to go ahead and help herself there. It will be up to Pwyll, though, to save the day with Rhiannon's magic. He's not really magic, she is. He must, after all, redeem himself for having been so damn dumb and offering whatever you want at the feast.
Yeah, that wasn't the brightest thing to do. Like, I
so
get
bright.
your heightened emotions in the moment, but chill out.
And I took Nikki's lines for Rhiannon pretty much straight from the myth, so that's what she says. Stop being a moron.
You are an idiot.
So she gives Pwyll a bag, and he must don a disguise, which he's already pretty well practiced at, because remember, he spent that whole year as a completely different guy.
Master of disguise at this point.
Yes, he's really good at this. And he has to infiltrate the feast and ask the prince for a boon. Remember, he offered boons at his feast. Now he's got to ask this prince for a boon. But the prince is not going to fall for the same trick he'd used against Pwyll. And so Pwyll has to ask him for something else. He's going to ask him he has his little bag with him, and he says, can you fill my little bag with food? It's a tiny little bag. But the bag won't fill, no matter how much they put in it. It's like Mary Poppins' bag. And so Pwyll must ask the prince to stand on it so that they can close it shut. It just gets jammed full of stuff, and there's all this stuff in there. He's like, could you just please stand on this bag for me? I'll get back to playing my role now. Yes, I will stand on your little bag. Strange how it wouldn't fill no matter how much we stuffed into it. What a funny little bag it is. Must a prince stand upon this bag in order to shut it up?
Only a prince, your royal highness, can manage to shut the bottomless bag with his foot. Just a little to the left, and got you!
What is this? Men, I have been caught up in this bag. There's an awful lot of food in here. It's very spacious, in fact. But I am trapped and would not enjoy to be in here anymore.
Men! Stop his men! Yes, I also have men, and your men have fled at the springing of my trap and the fact that you're stuck in a bag. Come, men, let us hit the bag with a staff and a foot! We will call this game Badger in a Bag!
Lord, if you would hear me, this is not a fitting death for me to be slaughtered in a bag.
Very well. I will stop kicking you around in his bag if you make me a promise not to seek revenge for me having bagged you.
I will not.
And allow me to have Rhiannon, since I have bested you here.
It's a deal.
Come, Rhiannon, let us have a night of feasting and get right to our pleasure before any more hijinks get between us.
Getting back to the story, Pwyll and Rhiannon, very nice, nicely done.
You as well.
I'm saying to myself and you.
Oh, okay.
Oh my
Me
gosh,
too.
Congratulating
I
both of us.
so hard
Okay.
not to laugh.
A fine scene there.
Yeah.
Pwyll and Rhiannon had a night of feasting and pleasure and returned to the kingdom of Dyfed, where they ruled prosperously for the next 2 years. They conceived a child, and Rhiannon gave birth to a boy, Pryderi Gwiri Goldenhair.
Mm.
I assume he was a redhead.
Putting that on the list of my names for kids.
But the night he was born, the boy disappeared mysteriously.
Damn it.
Yeah, everything's so complicated around here. Pwyll seemed to anticipate that this might happen and appointed 6 women the task of watching over the mother and child while the child slept. But those 6 women all took a nap instead of keeping watch.
They
All
had one
6 of
job.
One job.
For 6 of them.
Take turns, maybe.
We all want to nap at the same time, but we're not really supposed to. Oh, let's just nap. So the child disappeared during that very poorly planned nap. The women woke up to find Rhiannon still sleeping, recovering from childbirth, and her child gone. And one woman cooked up a little scheme. This is Savannah, I think, right?
There's a female staghound around here with puppies. Let's kill one of the puppies and smear some of its blood on the face of Rhiannon and each of her hands and leave its bones in front of her and accuse her of killing the baby herself. Against the word of the 6 of us, her word alone will not stand.
My God.
Oh.
Talk about going to the most extreme. Like,
That's so sad. Why would you do that?
Yeah, that's gaslighting taken as far as it can possibly
too
go.
far. Too far.
I wonder if there's a comment on postpartum depression somewhere in here. Certainly there's a comment on woman versus woman violence. That's for sure.
You hate to see it.
Hate to see it. When Rhiannon was revealed to have presumably eaten her own baby, covered in blood, right? Pwyll's right? What?
Yeah.
Yeah, gross. Pwyll's nobles were enraged and asked Pwyll to have her killed. Instead, Pwyll, who loved Rhiannon dearly, asked that she be able to seek penance instead. You ate my baby, but I love you, honey.
Aw, see, that's true love. When you say, like, through, sickness and health, through eating babies or not, or whatever vows are.
You guys aren't married yet. You can work that into the ceremony.
Right? I think it's
And
important to
I
cover
actually
the
perform a lot of
bases.
wedding ceremonies. I should add that.
Do you want to... would you like to perform ours?
Oh, absolutely, yes. Okay. I'm there for it. And I will make sure baby eating is included.
You got to cover all the bases. I mean...
Appreciate it.
Rhiannon realized there was no way for her to dispute the 6 women, and so she accepted her punishment and committed to performing her penance according to the judgment of Pwyll's druids. She sat at the gate at the edge of the city. To any newcomers, she had to tell the whole story of how she had come to sit at the gate, and if they desired transport to the court, Rhiannon was compelled to carry them, presumably no matter how many of them there were. So.
Just thinking about that logistically. Like, did she have a cart?
Was she just stacking them on her shoulders?
She stacked them on her shoulders, yeah. She carried them like a horse.
Louisa and Encanto. Just with the donkeys.
So this is actually part of, like, it's possibly a distortion of Rhiannon lore. So the idea that she carried people like a horse, paired with the fact that her first appearance in the mythology in this cycle is on horseback, has suggested a link between her and Epona, goddess of horses.
Legend of Zelda,
yes. They took the name from the goddess of horses. Indeed.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah. So sometimes Rhiannon is regarded as the Welsh goddess of horses, but I don't think that's entirely the case. Like, this is a kind of like odd coincidence within her lore. And it's also true that, like, the curse on the men of Ulster in Ireland is a story where a woman is outrunning horses. So there are frequent circumstances in Celtic lore where women engage in horse-like behaviors.
They just want to be free and run.
Yeah. The woman and the horse have something in common, I guess.
So they make it sound like a bad thing. That sounds amazing. That's a good comparison for women. They want to be free like horses, but
yeah, horses are mighty,
angry about it,
mighty, loyal, and run
forced
fast.
to do menial labor for humans they can't be bothered to do themselves.
There we go.
In any event, not everyone sought to be carried by the magical queen of Dyfed, but some were happy to let her be their human airport taxi. Right, because you arrive in the city and she's like your first mode of transport. Yeah. Find that app. Then a strange series of events got stranger. Not so far off, around the time of the golden-haired babe's disappearance, a nobleman... Now you got to follow me close here. So, a baby has disappeared, and Rhiannon is carrying men back and people, like visitors back and forth on her back.
Yes, this all makes sense so far.
So far,
Yeah.
so good. So, the baby has disappeared. Now, a nobleman named Tiernan Twelfth of southeast Wales is watching one of his prized mares give birth around the same time the baby disappears. A similarity between the names Rhiannon and Tiernan suggests a possible link beyond what the story shares, but we can only guess at that. So, FYI. As soon as the horse is born, the baby horse, the foal, Tiernan is horrified to see a giant clawed hand reach through the window of the barn and grab a hold of the horse, the baby horse, the foal. Thinking fast, Tiernan strikes the hand, cutting it off. So you can only see the giant hand, so he cuts it off at the wrist. So we don't know the creature that it belongs to, but the hand falls. And then he hears a baby cry and discovers a child wrapped in silk, the silk of a noble, that the hand has somehow left behind. It seems that the giant, horrible, clawed hand, its owner, has left the child after it had its hand cut off. It ran away.
But it took the baby horse?
No, it didn't get the horse either.
Oh, okay, good.
Because it got his hand cut off. So, in this instance, the Welsh were better at protecting horses than they were protecting babies.
Well, one of them, creates profit. The other one costs money.
Yeah. 6 women versus 1 man as far as baby protection also, let me just say.
Oh.
Well, 6 really sleepy women. I mean, come
That's
on.
true. That's true. What could you do about being sleepy? So Tiernan knew that the tale of Rhiannon and her penance carrying people from the... He knew the story that Rhiannon, the queen of this land, of a land to the north, was carrying people back and forth from the town's gates. The news had got out.
Yeah, he kept asking people, how'd you get here? And they're like, oh my God, Rhiannon carried me on her back.
And he knows that the reason she's doing this is because of the baby situation.
Everyone knows about the baby situation, I mean.
So as soon as he sees a baby wrapped in, nobleman's silks, he's like, crap, that's her baby. She didn't eat her baby after all.
They lied. Oh, no.
And so they sent the child back to Pwyll along with the baby horse, the foal, that Tiernan had saved. Rhiannon was exonerated and the women's lies revealed, and the foal would go on to become Pryderi Goldenhair's mount, and Pryderi would marry Sigfa. Okay, so that pretty well gets us to the end of the first tale of Rhiannon, and now we're going to get to tale number 2. The years roll by, and Pryderi grows up to be a man, and Pwyll disappears while battling the Irish, never to be heard from again. This is true. There's no grand death.
He's just gone.
He disappears.
Huh.
He's battling the Irish one day, the next day, gone.
No, he's just disguised as another person.
Oh my gosh!
Ooh, it could be.
He is the horse. He's in a horse costume now.
Weird.
Pryderi's horse.
Could be. Well, when we do the anime of this, we'll remember that. So
takes off a mask. It was Pwyll all along.
We found you.
It was me, Pwyll.
Anyway, Pryderi Goldenhair and Rhiannon are now ruling the Cantrefs without Pwyll. And one day, Pryderi is chatting with his good friend Manawydan about how sad they've both been lately. Okay, now I'm going to play Jake's son, Pryderi. And Jake is going to now play the role of the friend Manawydan. We've been real sad lately.
It's just so boring being a Welsh nobleman.
What did you say? What do you say we head over my 7 cantrefs where I rule with my mother? You've heard of my mother, Rhiannon.
I've heard she was once very hot.
She is still very hot, my friend.
That's your mom, dude.
I believe that... Sorry. That was good. That's a good reading. I believe you will not ever have listed a woman more companionable than her. When she was in her prime, no woman was as beautiful as her, and even now, you will not be disappointed with her looks. If you like her, you're my friend. You may marry her.
All right. I guess that should cheer me up some. It's at least something to do.
So, getting back to the story.
Bro, I'm
Pryderi.
so bored. Could I like marry your mom?
Yeah, that'll pass some time. Keep us busy for a couple of weeks.
I could like be your stepdad. That'll be like new and fun.
Yeah.
So my character, Pryderi, he's already married. So him and his wife, Sigfa, and the bachelor Manawydan go to Dyfed, where all of this has began. First
they
began.
bring his wife?
Yeah, his wife is, well, because it's Pryderi, he's married. He's not going to leave her home. There's a whole adventure we're having.
Yeah.
There's going to be a wedding.
Hop in, wife. We're going to go
in,
marry
wife.
my best friend to my mom.
Yeah, come
Get
on.
in, loser.
I just
What
thought
could
this
be
was kind of
more
like a
fun?
boys' trip, I guess, like a buddy comedy.
Yeah. That's that scene. So maybe they're getting real high. So looking for a White Castle. So they're
That's what I was thinking.
on their way to Dyfed, where, at the very beginning of the story, we were in Dyfed with the hounds and all, and we're trying to meet Rhiannon. She is indeed still very hot, and she turns out to be interested in Manawydan, and so they get married. Not long after the marriage, Pryderi, Sigfa, Manawydan, and Rhiannon are all feasting in Arbirth in a kind of mother-son double date.
Did you bring
Which
your
was
mom
inevitable.
to the state, dude?
Have you guys ever heard of that MTV show Date My Mom?
Yeah.
It's like that.
Oh my god.
But your best friend is doing the dating.
Hmm.
So, anyway, suddenly they're all on this double date when they hear a sudden and portentous clap of thunder. Looking outdoors, they notice a mist has descended all around them, and when the mist clears, every sign of human life has vanished from the kingdom of Dyfed. Think about that. Everything's gone. There's no houses. There's no fences. There's no people. It's nothing except for a couple of empty buildings of the court. The kingdom has been deserted and is wholly uninhabited by shepherd or sheep, farmer, or livestock. It's all very strange, and they don't know what to make of it. But they figure they got to carry on either way. And so they pass a year hunting stags and swans and living off what they catch, because there are no farmers.
I mean, what else are you going to do?
What can you do? Well, hunting's fun, but eventually they got bored. And living in a wholly abandoned kingdom turns out to be not as much fun. And remember, these guys are taken to boredom. That's how they got mom married in the first
Oh,
place.
yeah, they are
They were-
easily bored.
Are they not trying to like figure out what happened? They
Nope,
just
no
move
questions. Yeah.
Nope, we're moving on.
on? Okay.
So,
It would be like really boring to kind of stop and think about it for too long, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
They wake up, everyone's gone. They're like, whoa, that's weird.
Anyways,
God,
we
I'm
should
so
probably start
bored.
hunting.
There's no one here.
Well, no, they did a year of hunting, Nikki. So I was like, okay, let's hunt some stags. And then after a year of that, on the money, that very day, we wake up and we're like, it's stag hunting. I'm over it. So let's go to England and forge a new way of life for ourselves. At the
Hope
first town
there's
they
people
settled,
there.
yeah, there ought to be. There's got to be somebody out somewhere. The first town they settled at in England, Pryderi and Manawydan decided to try their hand at crafting saddles. But Manawydan got so good at making saddles that people only wanted to buy saddles from him, and the other saddle makers got jealous
Uh-oh.
as they were running dangerously low on cash, and they plotted to kill Manawydan and put an end to his saddle-making dominance once and for all. Rather than engage in a duel with the saddle-making guild, Pryderi and Manawydan made up their minds to leave the town and carry on to seek their fortune somewhere else in some other way. In the next township, they endeavored to make shields. But yet again, Manawydan got so good at crafting shields.
Dang it. Dang it.
The shield makers of the township were going hungry, and once more, they united together to murder Manawydan. This is an early form of trade unions, these guilds. This is mostly how trade unions work
Oh my
today.
gosh.
Rather than take on the shield makers guild, which this is why Starbucks doesn't want them to unionize. They're afraid they're going to go to Seattle, Jake, and just kill the CEO.
rise up at the roastery.
Right. Yeah. They'll start killing their rivals. Yes. To the Starbucks baristas will go coffee house to coffee house.
They are wired. So,
They unionized. Oh no.
we were warned about this from Rhiannon.
Right. We should have listened to the Welsh.
Stevie Nicks warned us.
Why didn't we listen?
You got to read between those lyrics.
This poor little bespoke coffee house is burning to the ground. Okay, so they decide after the shield makers try to kill him that it's time to go to another place. And in the next township, they started making shoes yet again. Manawydan got so good at making shoes that he sold all the shoes worth selling, and the shoemakers plotted to kill him again.
I love this guy though. He's
He refuses to rein it in. Like, he could just work less hard. He could just do less good, but he's like, I don't half-ass it. No, I don't half-ass it.
So they gave up living in England, went back home to the court of Arbroath to live with each other and nobody else. Because remember,
it's still empty.
Everybody else is gone. Yeah.
So it's kind of like their love story, honestly.
It is a buddy comedy, yeah.
Aww.
But with chicks occasionally. So I guess it's like your classic buddy comedy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The odd chick here and there, like an American Pie kind of story.
But at the end, it's just two bros in an abandoned kingdom.
Yeah. Just chilling. After they returned and got back to hunting, because that's what they liked to do originally, Pryderi and Manawydan's dogs happened across a mysterious caer, or fortress. So caer, I guess, is the Celtic word for fortress, the Welsh Celtic word. And that fortress seemed to have appeared out of nowhere. Because remember, they'd been all over the place and hadn't spotted this place before.
Oh yeah, everything disappeared.
Yeah, it's been a year, so they would have known if there was just a fortress there. But the dogs are dogs, so they don't care and just run inside. They're, by the way, chasing an equally mysterious white boar. We haven't seen a white boar around, but now there's a white boar and it's running into the fortress. Pryderi was in no mood to lose all of his hunting dogs because he's lost enough and been chased out of a series of towns because his friend is too good at making shoes. So he chases after his dogs into the caer, but Manawydan worried over the fact that this whole citadel had just sprung up overnight. And so he says, you go in, I'm not going to go ahead and run inside there with you, just in case it might be enchanted. This feels like a trap. Inside, Pryderi saw a beautiful golden cauldron with chains stretching up to the ceiling. Enamored at the sight of it, he reached for it, grabbed hold of it, and once he did, found he was unable to let it go. He was stuck to it.
Yep, bad call. You never reach for the golden thing. The golden, you go into a mysterious place, there's a big golden object that's treasure-like, you don't touch it.
Stuff just disappeared a year ago, and we spent another year like wandering around, having the same thing happen to us 3 times. You'd think they would look at each other and say, it feels like we're in a Welsh legend here. Maybe we shouldn't touch the gold stuff.
You'd think.
It's feeling legendary to me. Anyway. Enamored, he's stuck. Worse still, he's rooted to the spot where he stood. In short, he's completely stuck. Rhiannon found out that her son had disappeared inside the mysteriously appearing fortress, so she said, I'm going to go in after him. And I'm going to go in after his dogs, because they're in there too. So she saw her son grasping the golden cauldron, and this is what happened. This is what she said.
Ugh, Lord, what are you doing here?
But Pryderi did not respond, because not only was he stuck, but he was also struck mute. This is a really unpleasant cauldron to be stuck to.
Dang.
So, unable to warn Rhiannon, she grabbed hold of the cauldron herself and found herself in the exact same predicament, rooted in place and unable to speak. Sigfa says, my husband and your wife have vanished inside that fortress. Remember, Pryderi's wife is still out here.
My husband and your wife vanished inside that fortress. Do you suppose that we should go looking for them?
Doesn't seem prudent. I fear there may be some kind of enchantment afoot, and it would do no use for us to become tangled up in it the same as then. We must think on a way to rescue them, if rescue them we may.
We must hurry! Darkness falls.
As night arrived, a peal of thunder sounded, not unlike the one they had heard that day long ago when the mist first descended and everyone vanished in that mist.
Oh no.
And like everyone before them, Rhiannon and Pryderi disappeared inside the fortress that no longer stood before Manawydan and Sigfa. So there was a fortress, then there was a peal of thunder, and there was no fortress anymore.
Dang.
Now, not only is everybody gone, but everybody plus your buddy and your mom. Well, not your mom, your wife. Sorry,
Yeah,
you're
your
stuck
mom's with you.
your buddy's wife. Yeah, your buddy is with his mom, and they're gone. And now you don't have a wife, and you're stuck with your buddy's wife.
Ugh.
So there wasn't much Manawydan could do about the fact that his friend and wife had vanished inside a magic castle. Because what do you do there? Also, his dogs were gone, so he couldn't keep on hunting.
Yes. Dang
His
it!
hunting is gone.
No!
So he went back to England with his friend's wife, Sigfa, who didn't want to stay back by herself, and he made some shoes. He was threatened by the shoemakers one more time.
He didn't learn.
Well, in a way, they didn't learn. He came back, started making shoes again, like nobody had talked about this. And he came back home once more, but he had made some money, and he had purchased himself a bushel of wheat. So he decided that he would use his bushel to become a farmer, because he can't hunt anymore, might as well farm. He grew wheat, he caught fish, and he trapped deer. And the time came for the harvest. So it's been a little while now. Our wheat has grown up. And Manawydan is excited at the prospect of all the beautiful grain he's soon going to have. Think of the bread. Oh, the bread. But he went to collect the first croft. And croft means a field of wheat. So I guess you collected in crofts. He had a variety of crofts, because remember, he had a whole bushel worth planting. So he's going to croft number 1, and guess what? It's gone. Stuff keeps disappearing on this guy.
Interesting. He better go back to making shoes then.
So you would think, but this is a legend, remember? So it's a myth. So he's gonna make plans to come back and collect the second croft. But on the second night, the second croft is also gone.
Oh, no.
Oh my.
So he says, okay. Because he's looking. Here's the deal. As he goes to collect this croft, he looks around and he notices that the other croft is still there. So sometime between the time he goes to collect the first one and the time he goes to collect the second one, something happens to make the second one disappear. I don't know why he doesn't just go ahead and collect the one that's there, but
I was just going to say, just grab them all, dude.
It's a long walk, I guess. So he says, okay, I'm not going to take this anymore. The third night, he decides to stand guard over his croft to see who or what is carrying it off. As if things are not mysteriously disappearing, right? Like
He's fearless.
Yeah,
he
there
could
must be
disappear in
some-
this moment, but
Right.
I don't think he cares anymore.
no, he's like my wheat.
Right, he's lost everything else. Dogs, wife, friend.
I think all he really cared about was the friend. I truly think the romance was between the two of them, because, like, you would not follow. Like, one of them could have stayed. The one who wasn't getting, like, threatened to be killed by all the, tradespeople. He could have just been like, well, screw you, dude. You leave. I have a home now. But they went everywhere together. I'm kind of sad they disappeared. Like, one of them disappeared.
I think. Maybe he's imagining, Nikki, that he can share this wheat with his friend when he comes back one day. He's hoping against hope.
That's sad.
So he's standing watch over his third croft of wheat, and as he looked on, a horde of mice arrived and devoured his wheat.
Oh, no. It's all he had left.
This cut close to home for me, because we have had a horde of mice living in our house up until very recently.
Uh-oh.
When we moved into our house,
Mhm.
we didn't know that there were all these mice because we bought the house
That had already moved in.
Yeah.
They'd been here. Well, because the people before us, I mean, if you think about it, like we bought the house, a year ago? And the people before us actually moved out during COVID and just left the house.
So it's just sitting.
Yeah, and the mice moved in.
Mm.
And they had left a variety of holes for them in our crawl space to get into the house. So anyway, I'm sympathetic about the horde of mice. Anyhow, and I'm I'm a vegetarian, right? So I've like been carrying mice. And the thing about mice is today's episode is brought to you by Fun Mice Facts. Mice can find their way back to your house within like 2 miles.
Right.
Really?
Yes. Well, it's I think they mark your house with, pheromones or something. So you have to I would get the mice in. So this is I had not intended on telling this story, but here we are.
This is your buddy comedy. Okay.
This is my buddy, me and the mice. So yeah, it's not really a buddy comedy. This is like a marriage tragedy. So
Oh no.
because Katie's allergic to mice, so she was
Oh, God.
highly exercised
Oh.
about me getting rid of these mice. So they would fall into our trash bucket, because what I would do is I would take the trash out and leave the bucket, and then they were in the habit of sneaking upstairs and stealing our trash, so they would fall in the bucket when there was no trash. And then I would get the bucket because they couldn't get out of it. It was too deep. And I would put it in my Prius, and I would drive the things to like a nearby park, and then I would dump them out in the field.
There's this guy every day. He's just dumping mice into a park.
And then the mice would look at me like, what the hell, dude? And I'd be like, listen, this is better than the alternative. And I would go back home. And Katie got so fed up with it, though, she started putting down glue traps, which are the worst, most inhumane way to capture these creatures.
It's sad.
And she only caught one of them this way, but the mouse was alive.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So she said, Rob, I don't care what you have to do, but free this mouse. So she's out for blood, and now I have to somehow liberate this mouse from the glue trap.
That's so
This was like
traumatic.
October.
Oh my God.
And do you know what you do to liberate a mouse from a glue trap?
No.
You pour vegetable oil all over it, or olive oil, any kind of cooking oil that you have. So the last mouse that I liberated from our
Looked
house,
like you'd been in an oil spill.
yes, was covered in oil. I had probably flavored the mouse adequately for the owl that ultimately scooped it up minutes
Maybe
after
he'll
I
be
drove
too
away.
slippery. And the
Yeah,
owl won't be
maybe,
able to
yeah.
get him.
Oh my gosh.
He was a sad boy. Anyhow, back to mice. So Manawydan is pissed because a horde of mice is devouring his wheat. And just like me, Manawydan can't just simply grab all the horde and get rid of them. This is going to be a piecemeal process. It's going to take forever. You can't stop these mice. So he wants to stop them. There's nothing he can do. There's simply too many of them, and they're mice, so they move real fast. But Katie caught one on our steps, too. It got stuck on the steps because they do move quick. But she managed to catch one in a cup or something. I had to get that guy out of here. Anyhow, so he's chasing after all. He's like, you got to imagine my poor Manawydan. He's like me. He's running around his house. His hands are up in the air. He's screaming at the mice, and they're
I don't know what to
scattering in
do.
all directions.
Yeah.
And they've got his wheat. They've got the man's wheat. So he moves amongst them. He tries to grab. He can only... There's one mouse that's got like a big stomach that's moving slower than the rest. And Manawydan's able to grab that mouse, and he drops it inside of his glove. He doesn't know what to do with it. He's angry. He doesn't want to just kill it right then and there. He's going to enjoy this. So he puts it in his glove.
Sigfa, wife of my friend who has lived with me this long, while since my wife and your husband disappeared, and with whom I've had no sex, I've discovered it was mice carrying off my wheat, and I have caught one here in my glove, and I intend to hang her for a thief.
But Manawydan, that is a mouse. Hanging a mouse is silly and humiliating for you and the mouse.
Woman, I wax sore with wrath for my wheat that has been stolen. I must have justice. The mouse shall be hung, no matter how badly I humiliate myself.
Ooh, I felt that.
Thank you.
He took the mouse out and constructed a scaffold. This man is serious.
Jeez.
He made a tiny little mouse gallows.
So I actually pictured it full size, just
Oh,
with
okay.
a tiny rope.
Oh no, I'm picturing a tiny scale model.
But he sets it up on a big stage.
Guys.
And he makes to hang it. But just as he was about to string the tiny beast up, he was approached by a threadbare scholar dressed in green.
What are you doing there, sir?
I am hanging a mouse who stole from me.
I shall give you £1 to let it go.
I will not let it go between myself and God, and neither will I sell it.
Very well, my lord. I only thought it such a shame to watch you embarrassing yourself with the hanging of a mouse and hoped to redeem you.
I shall not be redeemed.
And Manawydan made to hang the mouse. But then a priest rode up.
Are you hanging a mouse there, my lord?
It's a thief, Reverend.
I will give you £3 to let it go, rather than defile yourself with that creature.
By my confession to God, I will not let it go nor sell it.
Gladly, my lord. Do as you please.
And Manawydan made to hang the mouse again. But now a bishop rode up.
Lord Bishop, your blessings.
And God give blessing to you. What kind of work are you engaged with?
Hanging a thief I caught thieving from me.
Is it not a mouse I see in your hand?
Aye, and a thief it has been to me.
Aye, since I have come upon the destruction of that creature, I will redeem it from you. I will give you £7 for it, rather than seeing a high-ranking man as yourself destroying a creature as wretched as that. Release it, and you will be rewarded.
I will not let it go, between me and God.
Since you will not let it go for that, I will give you £24 of mint silver, so let it go.
I will not let it go, by my confession to God, for that same amount again.
I will give you all the horses on the plain, and the 7 sumpits that are here, and the 7 horses that carry them.
I do not want them, between me and God.
Name your price.
I will name it. The freeing Rhiannon and Pwyll, and deliverance from the magic and enchantment upon the 7 cantrips of Dyfed.
That you will have also if you release the mouse.
I will not free it. Between me and God, I want to know who the mouse is. Then I will let her go.
She is my wife. And were that not so, we would not be freeing her.
By what means did she come to me?
To plunder. I am Luid Kill Coed, and it was me that put magic on the 7 cantifs of Dyfed to avenge Gaul, son of Clod. For his friendship, I laid the enchantment on Pyderi. I avenged the playing of Badger in a Bag. When it was done by Pwyll Pen Annwn and the court of Hyfidden Hen, the ill-advised deed.
Yeah, you see, now it all comes together, this mouse situation. So,
It was
you got all the
bishop
pieces?
all along?
It was the bishop all along. Well, he's not really a bishop.
Oh.
The scholar, the priest, and the bishop were all the same guy, coming back again and again and again in different outfits.
Sorry, my rage was taking over. All I saw was red.
No, he's like Wile E. Coyote. He's like putting on different costumes and coming back again.
Which
and
is
again
why,
and again.
if all the voices sounded the same, it was supposed to, because it was the same guy. It's nothing to do with my voice acting.
So,
it was on purpose.
it's a clever story, I think, because Manawydan, like he seems like an idiot at first, because like remember he hasn't seen another human in this region of the earth, right? in Wales, like for years, and then suddenly there's all these guys coming up to him, and he never mentions that this is strange.
He didn't question
But
it.
no, and these guys keep offering him more and more money for the stupid mouse, until finally he says, what do you want from me? And he says, break the curse, because I know you're the one who cursed me and has cursed the generations of Prydaria. Like he has been putting the pieces together. Maybe he knew from the very beginning. He's just been playing along to get to this request. So to put a pin on the whole, to just summarize what we just heard, it's that the guy, remember at the Badger in the Bag guy who got at Rhiannon's wedding, he got Badger in a bag. To avenge that guy a generation ago of Pwyll, like to avenge him on his son, this guy conspired to create a whole situation where first he took away the whole kingdom, made it disappear in a mist, and then got them stuck to a golden cauldron, Rhiannon and the living child of Pwyll. But that wasn't enough. He was still pissed. So he kept getting revenge, this time on Rhiannon's husband, by having mice, turning his entire army into mice. Lil Quid Cohen means Grey One of the Wooded Cell, and he was at least as powerful a druid as Rhiannon, if not a denizen of the other world, a god, some kind of god or goddess. The bishop, who was no bishop after all, confessed that each night after the wheat was ripe for harvest, he had transformed his men into mice to go and steal it. So there's a whole army, and he turns them all into mice with his magic.
He said, "Line up,
and you shall be mice."
Bippity-boppity-boop.
The wheat. Yeah, this is some dark Cinderella here. And his wife and her ladies heard about this magical plundering, and they were like, "That is badass. Can we go too?"
Hell yeah.
So he turned them into mice as well to join his army of wheat-stealing mice men. But his wife was pregnant when she was transformed.
Oh no, the fat mouse.
It wasn't actually fat, it was pregnant.
Wow, so rude of him. Did he even ask?
And so that mouse moved too slow, so when Manawydan came after them, he was able to catch her before all the rest. Before giving her back, Manawydan made Llwyd promise there would be no more enchantment and no revenge for his having bested him, and Llwyd so promised. And then Manawydan let her go, gave the mouse over to Llwyd. Llwyd took her up and smacked her with his wand, changing her into a beautiful, naked, pregnant woman. And it's sort of a glorious and absurd scene all at once.
She's just like posed,
Yeah,
like laying there.
And the myth says like she's like the hottest woman he's ever seen. And she was a mouse seconds ago.
Wow, that pregnant mouse was the hottest woman I've ever seen.
Yeah, that pregnant mouse was way hot. But you literally, it's in Celtic, in Druidic culture, you have to get hit with the wand. All that Harry Potter stuff. No, you have to
smack them with it.
Yes, you have to make physical contact. So
That's how you get the magic out of the wand. Smacking
like
it.
that.
Seconds ago, she was a mouse about to get hung, this giant mouse, and then she got smacked in the face with a stick. And now she's this full-sized, naked, pregnant woman. So anyway, it's just, the myth says she was the most beautiful woman Manawydan or Sigfa or Llwyd had ever seen. Wands, now a regular feature of magical popular culture, had their roots in Celtic lore and did striking rather than pointing to achieve their effects. Rhiannon and Pryderi are freed. The kingdom of Dyfed is restored, so ending the saga of Pwyll, Pryderi, Manawydan, and Rhiannon. All right, let me get to Rob's take here because I think we've had enough fun for the day.
Yeah, no more fun.
Rhiannon's role in the third tale of the Mabinogi, the story of Manawydan, is less central than in the tale of Pwyll, which raises the question, what is she doing there in the first place? The tale of Manawydan is in large part a continuation of the tale of Pwyll and his sins against Gwal, the prince. Significantly, Pwyll was not solely responsible for what happened to Gwal. Rhiannon's enchantment and unwillingness to marry the prince were central to trapping Gwal in the bag in the first place. With Pwyll gone, vengeance could only be had against Rhiannon and her progeny by Pwyll, Pryderi. Not coincidentally, these are the two who are trapped in the cauldron in the fortress. It takes an outsider, Manawydan, not a member of the bloodline of Bran, to free them. This demonstrates the degree to which female agency is taken seriously in Welsh tradition. The curse Gwal's family exacts on the family line includes Rhiannon, a sign of the matrilineal nature of Celtic culture. It's also true that magic is met with magic, despite the fact that the tale was recorded in the medieval period by Christianized people. They didn't take the magic out. Sort of like the King Arthur stories, right? There's still a lot of magic in that. This Christianization explains the presence of the bishop and the priest, who would have likely been some sort of druids or magicians previously. But magic is the means by which Rhiannon marries the man she wants and the means by which his family gets their revenge. And there is no real sense that anyone is punished for their use of magic. So this isn't really witchcraft. They're punished for hurting each other. It's the badger in a bag stuff.
Which, like, yeah, fair.
Which could be done in perfectly natural means, as when Pwyll's dogs eat the stag and he has to make it up to Arwen. There's nothing magical about that. Kicking a man around in a bag, yeah, it's not magical. The Wid exacts vengeance against Rhiannon and the House of Pwyll with a series of curses and spells, but he's still able to save his sexy pregnant wife from being hanged with magic. Parity is achieved. Peace is restored through magic. So the sexy pregnant wife, we made a big deal of her, but she is important because she is really the key to resolving the story. By giving her up, by handing her over, we finally strike a balance between the wronged party and the party who did the wronging. You got me?
Yeah.
Peace is restored through magic. Similarly, the West's most famous druid, Merlin, is not moralized over for using magic, as I mentioned in the King Arthur stories. Dreams unwind, love's a state of mind. To partner with Rhiannon is to enter a world of enchantment, in which choices echo across generations and love requires great patience, wisdom, and generosity. There is distance and loss, and sacrifice and redemption, and a golden cauldron you get stuck to sometimes. All your life, you've never seen a woman taken by the wind. Would you stay if she promised you heaven? Will you ever win?
You said the thing.
I said the thing.
You said the thing.
Final thoughts, Jake and Nikki.
I didn't know there was, like, lore to go with the song Rhiannon by Fleetwood Mac, so that's cool.
I mean, lore that Stevie Nicks didn't know when she wrote it, but yes.
That's what I mean. Like, there is lore. You know, whether it's intended or not, it is still based off of something bigger.
A substantial character who I think teaches a lot. I think her existence is meant to teach a lot of lessons about love, marital love.
Mm-hmm.
You know, every phase of marital love.
Well, there's like devotion amongst each of like the things. I guess even in the Manawydan, like they never actually like got together, did they?
Who?
Like Manawydan and Sigva?
No, they remained chaste.
They made a big point about not sleeping with each other's wives.
Yep.
It's like a devotion between like love and then like whether it's like romantic love or even like you all were saying, like the buddy comedy stuff. It's like friendship.
Platonic love. Yeah, there's a lot of that in this.
It's a really cool, like wholesome story. Also, why do you think that like the magic wasn't really taken out of the story?
In Christianization, I think it would make no sense and be no fun at all anymore.
True.
There would be no reason to pass it on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why it wasn't moralized over, but I think the myth would become incomprehensible if we moralized over the magic because it's such a neutral force.
Yeah.
Rhiannon uses it over and over again, and she uses it to get the man she wants to marry, who is the hero of the first story, right? So it's hard to like say that it's bad that she uses magic to get out of marrying a man she doesn't want to marry.
Yeah.
But then she is punished for it ultimately, although she's rescued by magic. So she's punished by magic, rescued by magic. You know, it's you pay a debt over time. Such a central
theme.
Yeah. And although she's not the hero, I mean, these are stories about male protagonists. She is arguably the most powerful or pivotal figure. Both stories are about her, even though they don't seem to be. She's the driving
force.
Yeah. It's all about her in both stories. It's about what she did in the first story, and it's about right? Like the second story is about the sin that she committed in the first story against the man. But it's not really characterized as a sin. It's not a moral act. Like she made a choice, and there's just consequences for your choices.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I mean, she was originally with Pryderi to begin with, so like that was on the other dude for trying to trick him. I mean, loophole in what he said.
Oh yeah, Pwyll. Yeah, Pwyll. You're talking about the King Pwyll.
Pwyll,
Yeah, she
not
was gonna.
Pryderi.
Yeah, that was her
That's her
son.
son.
Yeah.
Whoops. Eesh.
Yeah, that guy.
I think we
was
did really
sneaky.
good
That's what I meant.
considering with all the names.
Yes. Yes.
Wasn't until the end.
Right?
Yeah.
I hereby adjourn and declare close this meeting of the Secret Order of Alchemical Actors until such a time as we get together and do it again. We want to thank Savannah Barrett for helping us out with a little extra voice action there. But otherwise, you've been listening to your host, Dr. Rob C. Thompson, your Supreme Hierophant, also Jake Wheatley, our Knight of the Dangling Serpent.
Yes, and I can confirm I would love to love her now. It's another lyric there for you.
and Nikki Hiller Henderson, who didn't get to play the role of the naked pregnant wife, but maybe next time.
Well, was that not Rhiannon?
No, the naked pregnant wife is just Mouse Lady. Oh, you were confused.
Dang it. I did get confused at the end there. There's a
No,
lot of names.
She's on the other team, naked pregnant Mouse Lady. Just say bye-bye.
Bye.
Next time on Occult Confessions, the Morrigan, Irish goddess. So, hang out. There's more myths of the Celts coming your way.